Oh, that was fun. I got that out of my system. What's going on, guys? What is happening? Good to see you guys here. All 22 of you so far. Hopefully, there'll be more as we go. But very much appreciate each and every one of you being here to join me tonight for this this episode of the Mezzabarba Trinity. Yeah, man, this amp is. You know, it's better than I expected. And I know maybe that sounds like, dude, it's a $4,000 amp. What, I mean, how did you not expect it to be good? I was really worried. I was really worried about Channel 2 on this because all the videos I saw, it just didn't seem like it had what I needed in it. And boy, does it ever. I mean, so just so you guys know, all the rhythms that I played tonight on all the songs was Channel 2, and the leads were Channel 3. So I have this thing controlled via MIDI through my my Helix. So as you can see, there'll be so I'm on Channel 2 right now. I switch to Channel 3 for leads, back to Channel 2, and then Channel 1 is the clean channel. So that's nice. That's a really nice feature, and it took me a couple minutes to program. I still got some more programming to do on it, but just for tonight, I did a quick program for it. And it's so easy, and MIDI is so handy. I mean, anybody out there that hasn't really used MIDI, you're missing out, because now I can switch channels on my amplifier, and all the effects that I need that are associated with those channel switches will turn on in an instant. I'm not up here river dancing anymore. So yeah, it's really freaking handy. So now I can, 60 some commands will happen all at once with the Helix instantly. So all my delays, reverbs, choruses, flangers, phasers, whatever I need done, routing, switching, everything with the Helix. And it's nice to have an amp that has MIDI. So if you don't have MIDI, or if you have MIDI and you haven't dabbled in it yet, definitely do that. It's worth it because it's just such a cool feature to have. I hope I set the camera up good enough for you guys to be able to see the settings here. Over here, there's a row of buttons that are associated with, like up here is your top row is your channel switches and your effects loop. Down here, so this is bright, this is boost, this is master, and this is program. So right now I have the boost on both of the high gain channels, and it doesn't give it a ton of gain boost, but it gives it like this. There's this magic it puts in there, a little bit of mojo and some aggression, and it just really fills up the channel nicely. So that's why I have it on. It's not a overdrive like what I would use, like the precision drive or the Deadwell duality pedal or whatever. It's just a built-in little mojo kind of switch in the amp, and it does different things on the different channels. So it's actually pretty cool. Channel 1, I have the drive at 7, which is 2 o'clock. And same thing with Channel 2. Or I'm sorry. Channel 2, I have the drive on it at 7, which is 2 o'clock. Overdrive channel, which is the lead channel, I have it at the same position. So number 7, which is 2 o'clock. It's just beneath those numbers, by the way. And it really does it's got plenty of gain for what I need. And I didn't think, based on the videos I saw, that Channel 2 would have enough gain for me, but it definitely does. Especially when you hit it with the overdrive and adjust the gain accordingly, and turn on the boost here a little bit on the amp. Channel 2 is thick and chunky and beefy and aggressive, and I'm going to get into the feedback knob in a minute. But first, let me say hello to everybody individually. I'll do my best to. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. It's just, I'm a little spastic right now. It's been a long day, and I'm kind of hopped up on all kinds of adrenaline right now, because that was a lot of mixes at all at once there. I had to get my mojo ready for that. Jason Taylor, what's going on? Beard CBO, what's going on? He says, I'm betting you don't like it. Oh, you are so wrong, and I think you're probably just being sarcastic. Jason Taylor, Mezzabarba! Sean Casey, what's up, buddy? Let's hear that bad boy. I'm hoping that you like the mixes, and if you're liking what you're seeing tonight, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. We do this every Wednesday night. I come on with different amps and play all my mixes and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Hang out with you guys, answer questions, turn knobs, kick tires. You know, that's what we do here. Kick the tires and light the fires, baby. We have a lot of fun. Bobcat, what's going on? Aaron Lucas, what's happening, man? JB 50 watts. Those Mezzabarba Italian for Mesa Boogie. I don't know. It sounds quite a bit different than a Mesa, but it's got that Italian accent. There's a lot of passion in this amp, you know. Gunnerman, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here. Let's see here. Is my volume up on my... Oh. Okay. I hope you're having a good day as well, JB 50 watt. Thank you very much. And staying healthy. Yes, I'm going to go... doing some maintenance tomorrow. Hopefully it'll help me out a little bit with some things. Acoustic, what's going on, man? Or is it Memorex? Are we live or is it Memorex? Hopefully it sounded good enough that I tricked you. Jam Moore, what's going on, man? Yeah, so he said he's in the hospital. Dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope everything's okay with you, buddy. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'll send my prayers out to you, buddy, and well wishes and everything else. I hope everything is good, and I'm wishing you all the health and wellness. And I had my, I honestly I don't know what you're going through, and but I definitely understand. I had a health scare about a month and a half ago, and still dealing with it a little bit, and hopefully things will get straightened out here. But God bless you, man. What? Oh, wow. He says, don't know yet. I had to have my foot amputated, and then an infection spread to my lower spine. Oh, my God. Dude. Wow. Yeah, man. God bless you, man. Seriously, I hope everything turns out good for you. I am so sorry to hear that. Oh my God, dude. God bless you, dude. I will definitely keep you in my prayers tonight. I promise that. I will definitely do that. I will pass this on to Carrie as well, and she will do the same. So keep me posted, man. My email is in the description, so feel free to reach out to me. Seriously, if there's anything we can do, be happy to help you in any way we can. So, God bless you, dude. Thank you so much for being here. It's like I always say, every day's a gift, man. So, thank you so much. Sean Casey. Okay, yep. JB, I'm just catching up to you guys. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? What is going on? Good to see you here. Okay, Jason Taylor says, I know Jared wasn't fond of the TC50 because it needed more gain on the rhythm channel. I have both the TC50 and TC100 heads laying around. They have MIDI, which is nice. Yeah, man, they really do. They're a good feature-packed amp, that's for sure. And they are good. I just wanted a little more aggression. I don't know if you guys saw my unboxing and initial thoughts or whatever on this amp yesterday. I posted it, and I was literally like, I want to share, like, this is a $4,000 amp, $4,200 amp, I want to share what it's like, what the experience is like when you first unbox this and dial it in, and like my first impressions, and like what I had to go through or do to get the tone that I was looking for. And I shared my raw thoughts about it, and you'll see how I dialed things in. And there's times when you turn on an amp for the first time and you don't really know where the mojo knobs and the buttons are on it, and you're kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good, but man, I just wish it had a little something. And then when I dialed this in, I went through the same thing. I mean, it definitely had some promise and some good things about it, but when I discovered when I turned the feedback knob on it, that's when this amp came alive. I was like, oh, there it is, right there. At 2 o'clock is the sweet spot for me. Anyways, it's got that really nice attack and aggression, and it's really full and fat as well. and it just came right to life for me. And I was like, okay, we are good. We are so good. Now all I have to do is fine tune a little bit here, and I'm set. And so I did that tonight, and I'm sure over the next few weeks I'll fine tune it a little more. But yeah, I got the volumes, the channel volumes at 7 on the on channel 2, channel 3. I have it at like 8, just to give it a lead boost a little bit. And it also has 2 masters, and you can adjust the masters accordingly as well. So if you want one master to be assigned to your lead channel to give you that lead boost, you can do that too. So it's a very feature-packed amplifier, and I got to tell you, for the price, they really do deliver. You get everything you would ever want on an amplifier. And the tonal opportunities are huge. You can have a really nice soft, buttery top end with the feedback knob down below noon, or if you want the aggression that I like, you can go past noon, and you can go all the way, full tilt on it. It's a little much for me when it's that high, but I mean, you could probably adjust the front knobs to make up for that too. So there's so many tonal opportunities with this amp. There's so many variations you can do, and it's just absolutely incredible. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to play some riffs and adjust the feedback knob for you so you can hear what I'm talking about. Okay, it'll get a little quieter when I go below noon, but that's normal, and what you do is you just adjust for it up here. But since I got my volumes right where I want them, I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to show you the tonal changes that it gives you for you right now. 1 second. Okay, so it's back to so I went to noon, and then I went up to 3 o'clock and backed it down to around 2 o'clock. So that's basically the feedback knob, and it really does allow you to adjust things quite a bit. And again, so like if you lose some volume or whatever, you can fine tune the volume up here in the front or with the master, and you can also adjust the treble, bass, mids, and all that up front as well to kind of make up for some of that. It's just amazing how tweakable this amp is, but it's all good tweakable kind of things. It's not like this Rubik's Cube you got to figure out. It's really very appropriate, all the features on it, and it really does a nice job. So what I'm going to do now too for you, I'm going to turn the pedal off, the precision drive off, and I'm on channel 2, which is the crunch channel. I'm going to show you what that sounds like. And I'm going to build from not having a boost on, so the boost is off now, and then it's just the regular gain of the channel, and I'm going to turn the boost on and then turn on my pedal, the precision drive, and show you how it kind of evolves. Yeah, so it's really likes to be slammed with a pedal. It's built for it, and it's really thick. There's a really big, thick sound to it, and there's a lot of good low end in this amp too. I mean, I got the bass at like 11 o'clock because if I turn it up much higher, it's just going to be really huge sounding, which is fine with me, but for recording purposes and playing in mixes, you just want to keep it tame. But what's nice is there's a lot of headroom on the bass, so if I get into a bigger room, or I'm on stage or whatever, and I just need a little more low end, there's plenty there to dial in. So, yeah, very, very cool. And it does come, with any kind of Tolex that you want. I got the burgundy snakeskin. I just thought it looked cool in the pictures, and I don't have any snakeskin amps, so I figured why not. And you can get the custom lighting inside too. I chose purple because purple is my favorite color, and I just think it looks really badass with that. So I'll answer your questions in a minute here, but before I do that, I mean, the title is a little, people are like, oh wow, shots fired, but honestly, I mean it, like, seriously, and this is no disrespect to people who have the SLO and like it. I have friends that I have one, and they love it, and you know what, I'm glad, I'm happy for you, I'm really glad that you enjoy it, and I don't blame you for buying it. Who am I to judge, right? I mean, I think it's one of those amps that a lot of people grew up wanting, and when you get a little older and more successful in life, you get a chance to get something like that. Go get it, and all power to you, and I hope you enjoy it. The thing is with me, though, is I'm a very I don't mind spending money on amps, as you can see, but I want amps that actually bring a lot of value with them, and I'm not saying the SLO doesn't, but for the price, I mean, the SLO is $39.99. This one here, the Mezzabarba Trinity, is $41.99. So it's just a couple $100 more. But what you're going to get with this amp, and before I go into that, this amp here, the Mezzabarba Trinity, is basically it's been inspired by the Soldano SLO. So that's definitely something. A lot of people say that it's kind of a lift off of that, and they springboarded off of it and really did way more. I mean, if you play this amp, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this here, the Mezzabarba Trinity, has so many features over the Soldano for that $200 difference. They're worth every penny. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, but the build quality of the Soldano and the transformers and all that stuff are, that's why what you're paying for. Okay, fair enough. But the build quality in the Mezzabarba is easily as good and probably better, because it's not built on an assembly line. It's not mass produced like the Soldanos are. It's they're not. It's not a production amplifier. This is built by one dude, maybe with a helper or something like that. But this guy is very passionate about what he does, and I'm not saying Soldano's not, but I mean, Mike Soldano's not building amps anymore. They're built in a factory now. Nothing wrong with that, but we're talking about build quality here. It's hand wired by one guy, and the transformers. The Mozatti transformers, I mean, they're their own transformers as well. That's their own proprietary, high-end Ferrari kind of transformers. You can't get them anywhere else. These are the only amps that come with them, to my knowledge. So you have that going for you. So we're talking about build quality. I mean, right there, you have proprietary components right there, and high-end, about as high-end as it gets. And it's only $200 more, but hey, we're just getting started. Now you're talking about an amp that has 3 actual usable channels. The problem with the Soldano, and again, no disrespect to anybody that has it, but everybody knows that 99% of the people that play that amp never use channel 1. I played it, and channel 1 was completely useless to me. It wasn't high gain, and it wasn't clean. It was like dusty. It wasn't even dirty, it was dusty, and it barely got there. And it was like, why didn't you guys update that channel? I don't understand. Like, the channel is completely useless to most of the people that would play that amp. So what you pay for in that amp is one channel. And that channel barely has enough balls for what modern metal does, okay? And it's not really tweakable. You just, do the standard knobs on it, and if it's, you crank the gain, and like that's pretty much what you get. Sounds pretty decent, it's fine, but there wasn't really, especially when you compare it to all the modern metal amps, it was like, I don't know if this can hang with modern metal amps, And this one, the Trinity, with that feedback knob, as you saw and heard, when you turn that up just a little bit, it gets you right from like regular rock territory to right into modern metal. It just slides right through the door, and you're like, oh my god, the aggression that comes out of this amp, and it's good aggression, is just absolutely amazing. So that's another thing. You also have MIDI on this amp. You don't have that on the Soldano, you know. So you have 2 master volumes. You don't have that on the Soldano. This amp is completely programmable. You don't have that on the Soldano. So all these buttons over here, all these settings, you can program these channels to have like the boost on and off, like the effects loop on and off, which master you want, the bright switch on and off. You can have all that on this amplifier. You can't do that on the Soldano, you know, and you actually have a really good clean channel on this amplifier. Soldano doesn't have that, you know. So you have 3 very usable channels on this amplifier as opposed to 1. So, you know, I'm trying to remember, it has way more gain, even, you know, way more gain, and I like that. I don't have the gain past 2 o'clock on either the lead or the rhythm channel, so it's insane. So I don't really see how you're missing out on anything over here by getting the Mezzabarba. You're getting all those features, and the build quality, again, easily rivals the Soldano. No disrespect to anybody that has a Soldano. I have friends that have them. I get it, again, but I don't want to offend anybody here. But I'm just saying, man, if you're in the market to spend some money on an amplifier and you want something that really brings the heat, get the Mezzabarba. I mean, if you're trying to decide between the Soldano and the Mezzabarba, get the Mezzabarba. You're going to be so much happier with it. I am. That's why I didn't buy the Soldano. I was gonna. It was about a year and a half ago. I was like, man, maybe I should, because, you know, it's the Soldano and look good on the shelf and street cred, blah blah blah. And I was just like, man, I just can't part with that much money for an amp that has 1 channel that I would use, and it does one thing. For guys like me, it does one thing, you know. This amp, it'll do 100 things. And again, with the MIDI and all the other features that I mentioned, and the headroom with the gain and all the different stuff, and I mean, you just can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong with this amplifier. It's well worth $200 more. Very well worth it. And you can customize it any way you want it. You can't do that with Soldano. I know you can customize a few things, but they charge you up the yin-yang for it. You can get the interior lighting, get any kind of Tolex that you want. I mean, it's insane. Now, let me just say one thing as an objective YouTuber here that reviews a lot of gear. The only thing that, and it's not a deal breaker, it's just me going, hey, you know, I gotta say this because I just do. The only thing I would suggest on this amplifier is not having a shared EQ for channels 2 and 3. It's the only thing, because the channels are voiced differently. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a big deal, but I know that there's this thing where let's save space. Let's not make this thing look like Noah's Ark. I totally get that. So why not have concentric knobs? You know, like what you know, EVH did with some of their amps. They put concentric knobs on, so you can stack knobs on top of each other, and not have all that, you know, that real estate used up for it. So having concentric knobs on here so that you don't have to share an EQ for the, you know, the channel 2 and 3 would be, that would have been absolutely perfect, you know, because like out of 10, I would give this amp a 9.9 right now. I mean, it's just, it's freaking amazing. It's built well, and I think according to what I've seen on the market that are priced really high, I think it stands up to anything in its price range easily stands up to it, especially with the features, the build quality, the look, the feel, the tonal options. I mean, if you play classic rock, you know, postmodern, you play metal, prog, pop, whatever, this amp will fit all of that, no problem. You know, if you're in a cover band that covers a lot of genres, this amp will easily do any of that stuff for you, no problem. So, and for the price, I mean, again, compared to a lot of amps out there in the same price range, I mean, it's a freaking, I hate to use the word bargain, but it is. It's a really good deal for what you get in this amp. So, I can't say enough good things about it. I really can't. And I like the size, too. So, it's great that it's not a boat, you know. I really like that. So, yeah, I just... there's really, I don't have anything bad to say about it at all, you know. And I've been playing it for hours today and yesterday, and I can't even tell you how relieved I am that Channel 2 works for me gain wise, because I seriously was having my doubts. But if it's got enough gain for me, trust me, it's got enough gain for anybody. You know, so all right, so let me get in here and say hello, or I don't know, not say hello, but read any comments or whatever. I'll be playing some more in a minute. I don't know how long I'll be on tonight, but I'll definitely be playing some more. And for those of you who are just coming in, you can rewind the live stream. I started off with like 6 songs, you know, just one right after another, you know. And so if you want to just get to that, you just go ahead and start from the beginning, and where I come in and start playing. And there's like at least six songs for you to listen to. So that's why I'm doing all the blabbing now. I figured I'd start off with a lot of mixes for people, and then I can answer questions and explain things later. Okay. Bobcat, are them new strings? Yeah, on the red one they are, because I snapped a string the other day. So these are new, and I'm worried about playing the purple one because those strings are getting old. I might snap one tonight. I'm feeling a snap coming on. Okay, let's see. Aaron Short was asking something. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Okay, never mind. Don't let me interrupt you. Chicago Todd. He seems to like it. Yeah, I do. I like this amp a lot. Jake Stevens, what's going on, buddy? Okay, so you want to hear a riff? 1 second, I'll get to some riffs. And again, Duo Q Life, I played like several songs at the beginning of the show, so I just, I will play some more for you in a second here, but this is my point where I talk a little, but I will get back to it. Jason Taylor, Tone Wars, on the Helix, are you using a single FX loop block or for 4 cable or separate send and return blocks? And what global loop level settings do you use? Good question. I'm using a single block. I used to use 2, but I figured 1 was fine. It works just fine. I haven't touched anything on my global settings on the Helix since I bought it. So whatever the factory settings are on it, that's what I'm using. So I've never went into the globals. But good question. Jake Stevens says, Soldano does it better. I don't know, man. I mean, I have to respectfully, and everybody's opinions here are welcome, and you're welcome to debate me all you want, and I welcome it, because I'm here to learn from you guys as well. But I've played the Soldano, and I know a lot of friends that bought that amp, and boy, they sent it back within a couple days. They're like, this amp does not work for me at all. It's not as legendary as I hoped it would be. I heard that from so many people. And it's, you know, the thing is it's a great amp. Don't get me wrong. It's a great amp, but it's vastly overpriced. It is so overpriced, it's not even funny. And people, again, they harp on the build quality and the components. Well, this amp has equally as good, if not better, components in it. And it has way more features, way more versatility. And it has 3 usable channels, not channel 1, which is an absolute abysmal failure, turd, garbage piece of crap channel that nobody likes. It's an absolute waste. It's an insult to the amplifier and the people that buy it. It's worthless, useless, garbage, trash, rubbish channel. It's just junk. Channel 2, it's as good as it gets for the Soldano anyways. But that first channel is a drop kick to my face if I was to buy that amplifier and have to deal with that dribble and bilge that comes out of that piece of shit channel. It's garbage. And that's the thing that really pissed me off about that amplifier when I first played it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. What do you even do with this channel? It's not clean, and there's not enough gain in it. It's just dusty. It's a dusty channel. There's just dust on there, no dirt. It's just garbage. And I don't know why anybody would put up with that. And for them to release that amp and charge what they charge for it, and not update that channel is just it's a kick in the teeth to anybody who buys that amplifier. It's like, really? Nobody in the boardroom had that conversation where it's like, hey, maybe we should make that channel usable. Nah, let's keep it worthless like it's been for the last, I don't know, 30 years or whatever. Let's keep the worthlessness of that channel in there. And I don't know one freaking person that has ever played or owned that amplifier that even uses that channel. It's an absolute waste of space on that amplifier. It's freaking garbage. It's like somebody opened up that channel in the amplifier and just threw up in it and bottled it up and said, there's channel 1 for you. Or took a dump in it and put it in a nice tidy little box with a tube in there and said, here's channel 1. That's what it is to me. Garbage. So if I haven't made my point about what I think of that channel, I don't know what else to say, you know. Again, I don't think Soldano does it better. I think that they charge way too much for a very simple amplifier that's built well, but again, compare it to the Mezzabarba with all the features and stuff that this amp has to offer, and I think anybody would pick this over that. They just would. I would. I mean, that's exactly what I did. And we have to take the rose-colored glasses off where we look at you know, legendary gear and be like, but it's legendary. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's legendary. It doesn't mean that you get to charge an arm and a leg for it and phone it in with no updates except for what they updated the loop. Big freaking whoop, you know, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. And the thing is, too, is back when those amps were super popular and legendary, what were we comparing them to? We were comparing them to Marshalls and stuff like that. That was, at that time, was kind of getting outdated and stuff, and at the time it was, you know, it definitely kicked a lot of butt back then when you compared it to other amplifiers. But now, you know, it's just like your parents, you know, your parents' action movies, and then they're like, you got to watch this action movie. This was action packed when I was a kid, and we're like, dude, there's a lot of dialogue and a fist fight. That's not an action movie. Go watch something modern, and you're going to be like, holy crap, you're going to have a panic attack compared to that. Everything evolves and gets better. And that's what the, you know, what the deal is with that amplifier. I just feel like, again, it's good, but I would never spend that kind of money on that amp when something like this is available and it has way more options and way more tonal options on it and way more gain, and it can get into modern territory if you want with that feedback knob, you know. So, you know, I mean, let's not get too in the weeds with our, you know, our legendary status kind of stuff with amplifiers, because, again, what was once legendary is now passed up by stuff that's just made much better and has more features, you know. Yeah, JB says, I think you don't like the channel 1 on the Soldano. No, I don't. I think it's garbage. It's a worthless, disgusting piece of crap channel. Useless. Oh man, if you can't use the EVH prayers, yeah, the EVH Stealth is insane. It's a great amp. Chicago Todd, based on my lengthy analysis of Jared's comments, I believe there is a high probability that he does not care very much for channel 1 on the Soldano, but I could be wrong. There's a chance you're wrong, Todd. There's a slight chance that you're wrong. All right, so let's play some riffs, man. Let's get back to having some fun here. So pay attention here. This is channel 2, channel 3, channel 1. I don't know if you can see that. So where the light is, there's channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. So as I'm switching, you'll see what channel I'm on. 1 second. There you go. All right, do you want to hear the cleans? All right, let's hear the cleans. All right, 1 second here. There you go. There's the clean channel. Not too shabs, man. Not too shabs at all. Very, very nice. I really, really like the clean channel. That's the thing, too. Like, it's not an afterthought. One of the things that drives me nuts on amplifiers is they have, like, oh, that's right. We got to put a clean channel in it. Anybody see that clean channel that was laying around here? Oh, yeah, I think the janitor put it on. Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, you know, and they just, there's your clean channel. Yeah, it's not super dirty, so I guess it's clean, you know. Here's your clean channel, you know, and it's almost like an afterthought, and it just sounds like crap, and it's just not pleasant. We've all been to those shows, especially like the local shows where the guitar player switches to the clean channel, and it's like, you know, bee stings in your ears every time he hits a note. You're just like, oh God, it's just ungodly, and it's just like an ice pick in your ears. And this channel's not like that. It's chimey, it's warm, it's full, it's big, it's round. It's all the things that a clean channel should be. It has a bright switch on it. You can turn the bright switch on and off. And you can assign that to, you know, the separate master. There's 2 master volumes on here, so if you want to do that, you can. And you can turn the boost on the clean channel and get a little bit of dirt in it, too. So, and it'll be as dirty as the Soldano Channel 1. So, yeah, I mean, you could totally do that. So, yeah, but it is amazing, you know. I mean, I just think, again, they just did everything right on this amplifier. So, you know, I mean, what does $4,200 get you? That's what it gets you. It gets you something like that, you know, that's built well, and you can literally brag all day about the build quality, you know, and the transformers and everything else, and still have it sound good, and you're not sticking up for the amplifier, you know. You're just speaking the truth about it. So I'll switch guitars here and play a couple more mixes for you in a second. Tone Wars, Mule Blues, what's up, buddy? He says, check out Eric Steckel. Yeah, I have seen his videos. Thank you. Yeah, he plays a lot of great stuff on the, I think he plays, is it an M0 or the Trinity? I can't remember. I think it's a Trinity. And yeah, he does a lot of great stuff on there. CS, what's going on, Chris? He says, tell us how you really feel. That's how I do it, man. Yeah, you know, this channel, I don't hide anything. I will tell you how I feel. Let's see here. Steve Shaheen. Did you buy that Mud Killer? I got to try that one. Yes, I did. It's around here somewhere. Yeah, it's definitely on the shelf somewhere. I got to find it. But yeah, it's a good pedal, man. Really good pedal. Daniel Robert Herr, electrician, also have the EVH3 first gen and with a concentric knob update kit. And these types of knobs share the circuit, leading to interface with each other. Amp builders try to steer clear. Well, I have the concentrics on, is it my Stealth? Yeah, there's a concentric volume on the Stealth, but not a concentric EQ. I think the concentrics on the EVH were the EL34, if I remember correctly. And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, they didn't have any problems with that I know of. I played that amp several times. I never owned it, but I played it several times. I didn't see any issues with it, but I get it. You know, I get the thought on that. I mean, maybe there's a way around it, but it is nice to have more EQ knobs. But again, that's just me splitting hairs and saying, well, there's one thing I would add to this amplifier. It would be get rid of the shared EQ on the two channels. But again, it's not a deal breaker at all. I'm perfectly fine with this amp. It's just something that I mentioned, that's all. So I did the clean channel. Let's see, Rev Eyes Be Shuts Amulets. Yeah, this unit is no joke. No, you're right, man. This is a great amp. Gotta be careful here. Dropping picks. JB, I like the snakeskin look. Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, it's just really badass looking. Aaron Short says, I saw the head the other day and that had built-in effects. Does anyone know what that is? It wasn't cheap. It's probably the Diesel VHX. It's like $5,000, and it's got all the built-in effects and stuff. Yeah, that was not cheap at all. But I haven't played it, but I'm sure it sounds really good. Diesel makes great stuff. Yeah, I am pretty saucy tonight, CS. Yeah, it's been a long week already, and I'm feeling it, man. Yeah, the Diesel VHX. Yep, that's it. Yep, anyone tried it? I haven't. Yeah, it's pretty expensive, man. It's pretty freaking expensive. All right, let me switch guitars here. And get my purple one out. Play a mix or two there. I haven't really warmed up on those mixes yet, but why not? I hope everybody's having a great night. Again, I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. I'm sure there's probably going to be some, some Soldano fanboys that are upset with what I said, but ask me if I care, And what I mean by Soldano fanboys isn't people that bought Soldanos. I totally understand why people bought them. And again, God bless you if you have it and you like it. Good for you. But if you're going to stick up for that amp and say it's worth every penny, you need your head examined. I would never pay that price for that amplifier, ever. I don't care what they got inside of there. I don't care if it's golden freaking transformers. Never, never, ever, never, ever, ever. All right, 1 second here. some sloppy playing for you. Oh, man. Okay, so, you know, is it thick enough? Yes, very thick. The notes are really thick and aggressive. And I like the fact that when you turn up the feedback knob, you don't lose the thickness. It just adds aggression. It doesn't take away from the thickness of the amplifier. It just adds some aggression and, you know, just gives that nice cut that you want. And I'm telling you, man, if you're a classic rock guy, if you like the Yngwie tone, you like that really nice that pick paddling thing that his amp gives you, turn the feedback loop down to like noon and crank the volume up a little to attenuate for that, and you'll get that on this amplifier. I actually demoed that in my initial thoughts video, or what do you want to call it, first impressions video. It'll really do that. So some people are asking me I should try some Strats with it or whatever. That's a great idea. If I can get to Motor City and get a Strat, maybe I could do a video with a Strat, maybe a video with this guitar. I don't really play Strats, but I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that just to see how it takes to different guitars. It's something I haven't really done on this channel. I love these guitars so much, it's hard for me to play anything else, but for you guys, I'd be willing to give it a try, you know. Let's see what I can do for you. You know, because not everybody plays these. Everybody plays different stuff, so maybe it would be nice to have some different guitars here. Christopher, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Today has been a day where nothing went right. The lights are on, but I'm not home. Thank God for the Shredmaster, TW Crew, and Whiskey. Oh, thanks, man. You were too kind. I'm so sorry that you had a day like that. That was yesterday for me. Yep, that was definitely yesterday for me. I feel your pain, buddy. I have been there, and there's days where everything I touch turns to crap, and yesterday was one of them. So I'm sorry that happened, but I'm glad you're here, and enjoy your whiskey, and just clear your head, and enjoy your evening, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see here. He says, would like to hear you talk about other gear you hate with fiery passion of 1,000 suns. Yeah, I'd be happy to, because when I get rolling on stuff like that, I don't mind giving my thoughts on it. You know, I'm glad you enjoy that. I'll just give you a general statement about gear that I hate. I can't stand anything that's overpriced and doesn't offer anything other than, well, there's this thing inside that you can't get anywhere else, but you play it and you're like, yeah, but there's no features. Oh, but instead of giving you features, we gave you this special thingy-do inside that was, you know, you can only find in Egypt under a pyramid. And it's like, I don't really care, because there's not somebody in the audience going, dude, I can tell that thingy-do in his amp was built in Egypt. No one cares. No one ever goes to a concert or listens to an album and says, you know, I can really hear the proprietary components in that guy's amp that's on that recording or that he was playing on stage. Said no one ever. Nobody says that. Nobody gives a crap. Now, does it matter? Yeah, it matters to the player, as it should. But again, if you're gonna put all these really nice components in an amplifier, why would you phone it in on everything else? That's what gets me really just lava comes out. Just freaking like, really? You're gonna do all that? It's like you're gonna cook this amazing steak, right? That you got. It's like the best meat you could buy, okay? And you're gonna season it to perfection and sear it and cook it to perfection and make sure that everything's great. And then you're going to put it on a dirty ass plate or a paper plate and still charge $50 for that meal. And the patron, you know, the person eating it's going, what's up with the paper plate or the dirty plate? Well, we spent so much on the steak that we figured we'd save the money on the plate and just give it to you on a paper plate. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, for $50, you can give me a good plate, okay? I want fine china for that kind of money, at least. Like, give me a break. I'm not saying I got to eat off a golden plate, but you can't give me a good plate, and that's the way I look at it. Like, I would take that steak and throw it at the chef. I mean, he'd probably need a proctologist to pull it out of his ass at the end of the night. Like, really? Okay, well, you know you can put your steak, you know. I just, it's something that, oh, it just grinds my gears. Here's a $4,000 amp, and it does nothing but just ampy stuff. And there's no MIDI, there's no other channels. Oh wait, there is a channel, but it sounds like crap. And you know, it just doesn't have anything. And they cover it up by saying, but proprietary stuff. It does, you know, it just makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. I hate it. As you can see, I don't mind spending money on expensive amplifiers, but all the amplifiers that I've spent money on actually have features that I can use. They're not dummy features, or, you know, like those features that are like, well, here's some arbitrary crap that nobody uses, but it makes it look like we really tried. You know, we've all seen those amps too. These amps don't have that. I mean, the Diesel is a very well built amplifier, 180 watts, and it's MIDI, it's programmable, it has 3 very, very good channels, actually 3.5 channels on it, because channel 2 you can have a plus or minus on it for the gain, and it has the mid cut, when it's the intensity and level on it to attenuate for it, 2 masters, 3 effects loops, and a partridge in a pear tree. You know, I mean, it has all that stuff. So should you spend $4,000 on an amp like that? Yeah. That's what $4,000 should get you. $4,000 should get you that. You should absolutely expect that. You should expect what you get out of the Mezzabarba for $4,000. But name some other amps out there that are $4,000 that give you a basic bitch setup with no features. You know, I mean, there's a few that come to mind. I want to see if you guys know of any. But that's the kind of stuff that really ticks me off. It's insulting to the consumer. It's insulting. It's very insulting. And what happens is they create this like cult about their amp, and like all these fanboys that run around and shame people for, you know, thinking that it's not worth that. Yeah, but you just don't understand the build quality and all this crap. And because they charge so much, all these fanboys run around and defend it. So now they have this really nice cult, and all these guys running around defending their purchase because, you know, their identity is associated with that stupid amp that they bought. So now anytime anybody says anything derogatory about it, they take it personal, like now they're not worth it or whatever. It's like, dude, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about the amp. And again, anybody who buys those amplifiers, and if you're really happy with it, then you made the right choice. You absolutely made the right choice. If you bought it and you're happy with it, and I'm not being facetious here, if you bought it and you're happy with it, God bless you. I hope you enjoy it. And I got, you know, who am I to say you made the right choice or not? That's between you and the amp and probably your wife, you know, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, for me, my personal decision is I wouldn't spend that kind of money on an amplifier if it didn't have what the Mezzabarba has, if it didn't have what the Diesel has, if it didn't have what the Ingle has. You know, there are features in there that are usable and good, and they're not, again, like arbitrary things. You know, everybody knows the toy in the Cracker Jack box is worthless, but for some reason people, you know, when you're a kid, you look forward to it, but as you grow up, you're like, yeah, that thing's worthless, you know. And it's the same thing with some of the amps that they just throw features on. It's like those Cracker Jack box toys in there. It's like, oh, I got a little army guy. It doesn't do anything, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. So I guess as a general statement, that's what I talk about. You know, when I rag on certain pieces of gear out there that I feel are just way overpriced, because they're taking advantage of their legendary status, and you know, and just charging people an arm and a leg for their product. You know, and how much should you charge for something? As much as you can, you know. But a smart consumer will go through the market and look at things and go and be objective and be like, well, this one seems to be built just as good as this one, but it has a lot more stuff that maybe I could use, and I think I might go this way, you know. That doesn't mean that a person that buys the other product that doesn't have as many features isn't smart, because if he buys it and he's happy with it, then he made the right choice. So, and the thing I would challenge people like that with is do a blind test between your amp with all the proprietary BS in it compared to something that's priced right and sounds amazing, and see which one you prefer. and see if, you know, you really do like that amplifier, or are you just infatuated with it because of the, you know, the nostalgia, the legendary status, and the price tag. Because a lot of people think that just because something costs more, it's worth more. It's not necessarily like that. You know, I have amps here that are very good you know, I hate to say the word bargain because it cheapens it, but I would just say priced right. Like the Splon Nitro, absolutely amazing amplifier, priced right. It's built by one dude, and you know, Scott Splon, he does a great job on it. You can customize some things on it, which is really cool, and it sounds and feels freaking amazing. And it's about $2,000 for a hand-built amp in America that's built well and sounds fantastic and has 2 really good channels on it. I got no problem with an amp like that. Now, if it was $4,000, I wouldn't buy it. Not because it's not a good amp, but because it's missing things that would require the $4,000 price tag. You know, I wouldn't spend $4,000 on it. And that's no disrespect to Scott or his company, but and Scott knows that. That's why he's got it priced the way that he does. So I appreciate that. That shows that he's a stand-up guy and makes a good product and charges accordingly for it. You know, if it had all the features that the Mezzabarba had in it, or the Diesel Herbert had in it, yeah, he could probably charge more for it, or he'd definitely charge more for it. How much more? I don't know, but I mean, it would be worth more if it had all that stuff. So again, if you're going to spend $4,000, if you're watching this video right now, and a lot of people probably are, because they're thinking about getting a Mezzabarba, and if you're in that price bracket, you're probably willing, and you've probably seen the Soldano or other amps in that price bracket, and you're like, gosh, which one do I choose? I'm just telling you right now, I'm looking you dead in the eye and telling you right now, buy this over that. You are going to absolutely thank me for it. You're going to be so much happier with this amplifier because you're going to get way more for your money out of it, and you're not giving up 1 ounce of quality. Not one. So, in fact, I think you're probably gaining in quality. So, let me get these back on here. Paul Smith, you're right on. Thank you. You know, and there's going to be people that disagree with me, and that's fine, you know. But it's just the fanboys that drive me nuts, you know. It's like, guys, stop. You know, I bet you I'll challenge any fanboy to put his amp in a blind test up against anything, and I guarantee you there's a really good chance he's not going to choose it, you know. And then he'll say, oh, you guys tricked me. What's going on, Steve Venchek? He says, just got here. I'll rewatch your video. Just quick question. Is the Savage 120 still your favorite amp? Everybody always asks me that. I mean, I haven't shot them out yet, but the Savage is always going to be one of my favorites. Always. It's so satisfying every time I play it. So whether or not something else rivals it in here, I don't know yet, but I don't think anything will ever pass it. In fact, they'll probably just be just as good, because that amp is like insane to me. JB50 Watt, Tone Wars, I agree with you, and I think that the Soldano should have really done what Mesa did with the JP2C. The Mark II C Plus is legendary classic amp, but they chose to update it and add features. Yeah, they really did. You know, you have to just take another look at it, and I know that there's this whole like, well, we didn't want to upset the fans that like the classic amp, you know, so we kept it the same. Okay, fair enough. But why not make an updated version of it too? You know, you're charging enough. Why can't you? Why can't you go, all right, for all you guys who want the, you know, the basic model that was like the classic one that everybody loved, you know, 30 years ago, here's this one. And yeah, you're going to pay too much for it, but whatever. But for you guys who want, you know, the MIDI, maybe an extra channel, things tweaked, this and that. You know, so what we're going to do is do this. But how much would that amp be? Because based on his you know, the standard model, you know, he couldn't lower that because who knows why, but he wouldn't lower that, I should say. So then how much more would the other one be? It would probably be $6,000 for all those other features, and no one's going to spend that. So they probably were like, we'll just keep it the same. But I think that if you're going to, re-release an amp and update it, or re-release an amplifier that hasn't been made in a long time, update it. Just update it and give the people what they want. How much does MIDI really cost? It's old tech. I mean, I don't mean that as a slight to MIDI, but it's been around for a long time. It's not like we don't know about it. It's like freaking Morse code for amplifiers to talk to their equipment with, It's not a lot, to put MIDI in there. Update your channel. How much does a gain pot cost? Put another gain stack in there and add more gain to channel 1 and make it better, And you're right. The JP Mark II C Plus is the perfect example of how do you release an amplifier that hasn't been made for a long time. You add MIDI, okay? You add a second EQ, all right? You add the cab clone so you can go direct out on it. And then you do the push or the push-pull gain, to add more gain. And you make the all of the circuits in here, like if you want to assign, an EQ, because you have 2 separate EQs to all 3 channels, you can do different EQ variations to the channels. You can assign them, okay? And they added the shred feature, which tightens the amp up. And so if you want to play like lower tune guitars, like super low, like Gojira stuff, you can do that on this amp and it doesn't get sludgy. It tightens up big time for it. That's how you re-release an amp right there. And I'm glad you brought that up. So the Mesa JP Mark II C Plus, perfect example of how you re-release something and have respect for your consumer. And it's $27.99. $27.99 for all that. That's how it's done. So when people, it can't be done. Well, these guys did it. And Mesa's no slouch of a company. They're amazing. And the guy associated with this amp is like one of the best guitar players on the planet ever. So you'd think that because he's associated with it and it's named after him and it's his signature gear, this thing would be $5,000, but it's not. So this is an amp made very well, updated very well. There's not a thing I would change about it. And it's got a guy's name attached to it that's a legendary guitar player that's still out there kicking ass every day and coming out with new albums all the time, and he's current. And they're not charging up the ass for it, so why can't other companies do that? See, that's what I mean. So when people say, oh, you just don't understand. No, you don't understand. You don't understand. You're not doing it right. Go back to the drawing board and do it right. That's what I'm saying, Okay, so Daniel Robert Herr, will a Soldano with 2 good channels be $8,000? No, it doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost that much to make a channel better. Just put in another gain pot. Put in some more gain. Stack the gain up a little bit. Do something. Just make it useful. Because that channel right there is useless. So if I could take your argument and reverse it on you, I could say, well, since that channel's useless, shouldn't that amp be half the price? Now it should be $1,500, because that's really what you're paying for when you get that amplifier. You're paying for one channel, or you're actually going to use one channel, but you're paying for that second one that's completely just an absolute turd and disgusting. But yeah, I appreciate your comment, but I mean that's they should have just updated it. Yeah, JB says, I'm pretty sure MIDI is basically 80s tech. Yeah, it is. It's been around a long time, and I just don't see why amplifier companies can't put it in their amps. It's so handy, and I showed it earlier how handy it is. I mean, make it pretty much standard in these amplifiers. And I'm telling you, if you embrace MIDI, oh my God, there's just so much you can do with it. I mean, there's no more tap dancing. It's insane, Yeah, Mule Blue. Soldano makes other amps than the SLO. The Avenger is more a metal amp. I don't know if they make it anymore, though. I have a friend that has an Avenger, and he really likes it. But I have never played it. But I don't even think they make them anymore. I think it's just the SLO now, the 30 and the 100. All right, so let me see if I can remember this song. I haven't played this in a while. 3 Shots and a Chaser. Maybe I can pull that off tonight. I'll get out of here in a few. Been on for an hour and a half. All right, 1 second here, guys. Let me play some more crap for you. There we go. I literally had to remember that song as I was playing it. I'm like, how does this solo go again? Oh, man. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun tonight. Sorry I got a little overly passionate there about the pricing of amps and stuff, but I mean, it's just a thing. It's a thing with me. It's definitely a hot button, you know. When I get on a tear about something, sometimes depending on my mood, I can go freaking nuts about it. But it's just, you know, I've been in business, you know, my pressure washing business for 22 years now, and I charge a fair rate to do what I do. I don't overcharge people. I definitely don't undercharge because I want to stay in business, and I feel like I offer a premium service. But I don't take advantage of people and charge like huge prices to do things because I want them to call me back. I want them to feel like they got a good value out of what I offered, and you know, I want to keep my lights on, and I don't have a helicopter pad on top of my house. You know, I mean, I just feel like you should charge a fair rate to do what you do, and if you want to live a lavish lifestyle, there's nothing wrong with that. Then create a product that really does bring the goods, that's worth what people are asking for, and charge accordingly, and live the lifestyle that you deserve. I got no problem with that at all. So again, like I've been in sales for a long time. I mean, I'm a salesman for my company. I sell jobs every day when the phone rings. But even before that, I used to be a professional retail salesperson. I sold big screens, home appliances, you know, home theater systems, satellite dishes. I sold all that stuff. And I got conditioned to see a row of products that are all the same thing And there's a reason why the prices were what they were, you know. And if I could, and that was the thing, if I could justify the price for that product, then it was worth it. If I couldn't, then I'm like, why are they charging so much for this? And I would literally bring people in, and they would look at TVs and go, yeah, but this one, you know, this is like a really expensive one. I mean, what makes this so much better? And then I would be honest with them, and just, if it really was just overpriced, I would say there's nothing. You know, it's just, I don't know what there is in this TV that's, you know, they think is so much better, but I mean, all these other ones have just as good a picture, great features and everything else. And for your money, I think you should, you know, go with this one or this one. Not going to bash this brand. I mean, I'm sure they're a fine brand, but I mean, for $1,000 more, I'm just not seeing it. And they're just like, you know what, you're right, I'll just get this one. And I just, you know, I feel like, you know, if you're going to charge that much, you better have a damn good reason for it. You know, and I get that all the time. I get it. You know, people will call me and say, well, I talked to another guy and he's half your price. You know, and I'll be like, okay, what's he going to do for that price? Well, he said he'd wash my house. I'm like, okay. Did he say how? Did he say what he was going to use soap? What kind of detergents he was going to use? High pressure, low pressure? Did he know what issues you had on the siding? Did he even ask you? No, he didn't really ask me what I had. I said, well, how does he know how to wash your house? You know, I asked you what you had. I told you exactly how I would get rid of those problems for you, and I'm doing it this way, that way, and right away they're like, okay, I'm going to go with you. You sound like a more competent guy. So I can justify my price, you know. So I'm not too high. That guy's just an idiot, doesn't know how to wash houses right, and he charges too much because he's an idiot. He shouldn't even be in the business to begin with. So any price that he charges isn't worth it because he's completely doing a substandard job to his customers. So it's just, that's the way I look at things. Just so anybody has any idea of why I feel the way I do about this stuff. That's why, you know. I got no problem with expensive amplifiers. I own several, you know, but make sure that your features and the quality is there. If one of those things isn't there, I'm not going to give up features for quality or quality for features. You know, I want both things to be there for me to buy the expensive amp. You know, Dave Stejna, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Killer Tone, thank you. Johnny Romano, what's going on, buddy? He says, Mezzabarba, the Lamborghini of amps. Looks as good as it sounds. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. It's a great amp. It's worth every penny, especially when you compare it to other things in the same price point. It really is. Let's see here. Eric Salinas, any amp, let's see, sounds good, but still prefer my Mezzaboogie. That's funny. No, I'm glad you like it, man. And again, whatever amp you buy, if you're happy with it, then you bought the right one, no matter what the price, because it's a personal choice. I'm just giving my opinion from my perspective, and then you just take it or leave it, or you weigh it in with a grain of salt, or whatever you want to do. That's what this channel's about. Chasing Gain, do you have tabs available for the song you just played? That sounded amazing. Oh, thanks, man. I don't, but I actually, if you email me, I can actually send you the backing track, and you can play along with it and write your own solo to it and everything else. We actually do a community jam here on the channel where I send people a backing track, and we'll get several guys that will record them playing over it, and we'll play it on the show on Sunday nights. So feel free to email me. The email's in the description, and I'll happily send you the backing track, and you can do whatever you want with it. Let's see here. JB says, if the Soldano makes you upset, I can only imagine what Klon pedal prices. Yeah, those Klons, man, they're expensive, aren't they? I've never played one, but, you know, it'd be interesting to try one out, you know, especially now that I'm used to, like, the more modern pedals. You know, it seems like the classic ones just leave me wanting more. I like the modern pedals more, but, I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some magic in that, you know. Dave... I'm so sorry, Stejna. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Totally agree about the pricing. Some amps are insanely overpriced. I'll pay if it's value, but you need the right features for a gig, not a one-trick pony. No, you're so right, dude. You are so right, because the thing is when I'm on stage, and I got friends that play around here. Steve Shaheen, if you're still in here, feel free to comment. But MIDI's a big thing for people. And let me explain that to you. It's not just like, oh, I want to switch my amp channels. You know, that's not what MIDI's for. It's for that, basically. But the main thing it's for is, let's say I want to go from my crunch channel to my clean channel. Well, there's an overdrive involved, right? So because I'm switching those things, I have to switch on my foot switcher that comes with the amp to the clean channel, and then I got to tap my overdrive. But I still haven't done anything. I just switched channels, and now I got this basic bitch clean channel set up. There's no effects, there's no chorus, there's no delay, there's no reverb, there's no, you know what I mean, no compressor if I need it. It's just that. So now I got to step on 4 other channels. So I'm up there river dancing to do that. Now, how many times are you going to do that before you're just like, I'm not doing this anymore? So now you're sacrificing all those wonderful things that you could be using for that channel because you just don't feel like stepping on them. And I don't blame you. Who wants to river dance all night? You know, you just want to play a show and not trip over all your stuff all night. And it's just, it becomes cumbersome and too much work. And then when you switch back to your rhythm channel, now you got to switch all those things off and then go back to your rhythm channel and, you know, and then lead. Oh, I got to switch to my lead channel and then I got to turn on my delay and you know what I mean? And it's just becomes so cumbersome. MIDI takes care of all that for you. With MIDI, I can switch, like right now, I'm on my crunch channel, all right? And I'm going to switch to my big crunch setting because I have that setting in my Helix as well. So what happens there is I have chorus and delay. And I hit one button and I get that, you know. I hit one button again, I go to my lead channel and I have delay and reverb and I turn the noise gates off because I don't want them interfering with my sustain. And I go back to my, so let's say I go to my lead and then after that I go, well, I got a you know, clean section there. Switch that, clean section turns on. And all the effects associated with it come on as well. You don't see me tap dancing here. I hit one button and up to 60 some things can happen in an instant. That's what MIDI does for you. So having a feature like that in an amplifier, especially for a touring musician or somebody who does a lot of local gigs or whatever, it just, even for church gigs and stuff like that, it just makes everything not just easier, but it allows you to be as creative and as awesome sounding as you want without having to do all the tap dancing. Because again, if you got to do all that work just to have effects turning off, all of us are going to just give up and say, you're just going to get what you get, man. You know, I'm not going to sit here and do this all day. That's what MIDI does, and that's what how important it is, you know, to have something like that on an amplifier, especially one that's priced like the way a lot of these amps are priced nowadays. If it doesn't have MIDI on it, I have a hard time parting with my money on it, unless there's another reason. You know, like I'll buy amps now for my channel that don't have MIDI because I got plenty of amps that have it, so it's not like every amp's got to have it now. Sometimes I'll buy an amp just because I like the amp, and to me it's like, MIDI's secondary on that. If I want to do something that involves all the switching, I'll just use, I got several amps here I can do that on. You know, so it's not a big deal. But that's just an example of why that stuff is so important. Again, it's not just the ease of use, it's the amount of creativity you can have now. You can literally have a fully produced show now as a guitar player. All you're your own producer now. You're your own sound engineer. You can do all your own stuff and bring that to a show and sound amazing. And I'm not trying to brag or pat myself on the back or anything like that, but I used to play around here a lot. And I used to get a lot of people coming up to me afterwards going, dude, you know, it wasn't even about my playing. It was about that your sound was so amazing. Like your clean sound was just beautiful. I mean, you had all this great stuff and it just sounded so lush. And I mean, that's the thing I like so much. I'm out there just throwing stuff out at people all night and seeing the smile on their face. That's the thing that I enjoyed so much, is being able to, you know, have a flanger, phaser, chorus, you know, reverb, delay, reverse reverb stuff, all this crazy stuff, just for little parts of songs that would make those parts of the songs really special. And I just really liked that a lot, as opposed to just being the basic guy. Nothing wrong with being a basic guy, but I'm just telling you, if you embrace technology and what it has to offer, get like a Helix or an XFX or something like that. Not for the amp tones that are in it, but for the amp control and effects and routing and switching that they offer. I mean, that's where those products really shine. big time. Okay, let me get caught up with you guys here. I'll be on for another probably several minutes. I'm gonna read your comments, interact with you, and then call it a night. Let's see here. Dave Stejna, how do you feel about the Synergy Power Amp's value, specifically paired with the Savage module? Does the low end hold up? I'm very curious, but don't want to buy anything, but then have to return it. Great question. I think that the Synergy Syn 5050 is a decent power amp, but I think that you'd be better off with something else out there that would be more, give you more kind of low end. I was talking to another friend of mine, Jeremy Vareo, who said he just didn't think that it had the iron in it that it needed to give it that, that big sound. And I love the Synergy stuff. I think it's really good. It's very versatile, and there's a lot of variety there. The thing where I felt it lacked with me was the power section. When you mix it with the modules, there's just this incohesion that happens where you're not really getting, like, okay, for instance, the Ingalls Savage, 120 Mark II, that's nothing like the Savage module through the Syn 5050. I never experienced the awesome stuff that amp does with that combination with the Synergy stuff. I'm not saying that it's not good, but it's definitely not that. Maybe the preamp is either exact or very close to the Synergy preamp section, or the Savage preamp section, but for some reason that combination with the Syn 5050 just didn't get it there. As soon as I bought that amp and fired it up, I was like, oh my god, now that's a Savage. So power sections are very underrated. A lot of people don't really appreciate them the way they should. I think that there's a lot of mojo, there's a lot of magic, and there's a lot of big kind of things going on with these power sections that really add a lot of magic to the preamp sections. And it's definitely something that we don't want to take for granted. So I think the only way for the Synergy module to sound exactly like the amp is to have the amp's power section with it. I mean, but a really good close would probably be like, just get a bigger power. I guess the Fryette is really good. A lot of people swear by that. And there's a PV, I can't remember the name of it, but a lot of people swore by that too. And then the Mesa, of course, they have a power amp that's just insane. So stuff like that, I would probably go that route more, to be honest with you, because I used to own the Syn 5050. I thought it was good, but as soon as I compared it to other things, I was like, wow, okay, I'm hearing a difference here. So I hope that helps you. Let's see here. Sacred Angler, Eric Steckel plays this amp with all the dials at 10, and he sounds amazing. Just dials back the guitar volume knob. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, what I noticed too is with the mids, you can crank the mids all the way up on this amp, and they're all usable. It doesn't get really honky and weird. It actually sounds really good. I was like, wow, this is cool. I can actually crank the mids on this thing if I want to, and it sounds appropriate. So yeah, that's actually a good comment there. Dave Stejna says, by the way, new to your channel, and I'm a fan, man. I appreciate your candor. Oh, thank you, and welcome to the community. I don't usually get that fired up, just so you know. Most of the time I'm pretty laid back, but every once in a while I'll get fired up about something on here, and I try to be real with you. Well, I shouldn't say that. I try to be real. I am real with you guys. I don't try. I am. I want people to come here for the authenticity and just the truth. And I'm a person. I get fired up about stuff every once in a while, and I share that with you guys. And that's why I think a lot of people do appreciate the channel, because they know I'm not a shill, and I will tell you what I think. And sometimes I'll lay it on pretty thick and get passionate about stuff. But, we all have things that we're passionate about. So I hope people appreciate that. I really do. And again, thanks for being here. Trickshot 417. If you could ever get your hands on one, would you do a Marshall JVM 410 HJS versus Ingalls Savage Mark II? Because your comparisons are epic. Oh, thank you. I can, let me screenshot that. Wham. So I will check with Motor City and see what they have. I think, they did have a JVM 410. I think I had a JVM 410 on the channel. That really rings a bell. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one with the buttons. It's got the green, orange, and red, I think, or something like that on it. Let me know if I'm right about that. I liked that amplifier. I'm not a huge Marshall fan, but that one I was like, ooh, because I'm not a big fan of open amps. I like compressed amps. I like a real thick compressed sound, and that amp definitely had it. And I thought it was actually better than I expected. I remember going, if I was to buy a Marshall, I would probably buy this one. One of these days I might add a Marshall to my rack of gear here. And that one's definitely something I would consider. I think the one I tried was a 50. I don't know if it was 100, but they have a couple 50 watters there that I thought were pretty cool. Let's see here. Phone's ringing here. Thanks for the super chat, Jim Moore. He says, scroll back and read your super chats. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry if I missed anybody's super chats. Let me scroll back here. Jim Moore, good night, everybody, and thanks for the well wishes. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. I did read the other ones, I think. Yeah, I think I read them all. Let me make sure here. If I skipped anybody, I apologize. Yeah, I got them. Yeah, thanks for the reminder, though, and God bless you, buddy. I hope you feel better, and please keep us posted. And again, please email me, and let me know how you're doing. And if there's any way I can be of any encouragement to you, I would be happy to do that, buddy. God bless you, man. Thank you so much for being here. My heart goes out to you. Seriously, much love, appreciation, and well wishes to you. And I will say a prayer for you tonight. I really will. Okay, so let me catch up to where I was. Stana. Dave Stana. It's all good. Okay, thank you. So Dave Stana. All right, thank you. Let's see here. Paul Smith. I couldn't live without MIDI. No, I agree, man. MIDI is like it's the rug that pulls the whole room together when it comes to gear. And anybody that hasn't embraced MIDI yet, you really need to. And it's not as overwhelming as you think. I programmed this amp tonight in less than 5 minutes. It was like done. I still got some fine tuning to do with some of the programming, but it's nothing. It's actually kind of fun now. It's very easy to do, and you just put in the codes and it switches. It's very, very easy. Dave Stana says, I totally agree about MIDI. I gigged with my Boogie Triaxis rig. Oh, that's a nice rig. For years, and one button would change 9 things, and it was brilliant. It's still an awesome rig with all the routing and switching. Good for you, man. I appreciate you guys chiming in on that and backing me up, because MIDI is one of the most underrated things. I have plenty of friends that come over here, and they have rigs that could use MIDI, but they just don't, and they're missing out on all this stuff. And I spend an hour with them and set it up, and they're just like, oh my God, you mean I could do all this? I'm like, yeah, you can do all this stuff now. And they're just, and it's fun to see the creativity come out of these people. Now all of a sudden they're like, you got to be kidding me. There's so many things that I've been wanting to do. I just didn't know I could do this. And it's like, yeah, you have all these superpowers now. It's like realizing you have superpowers. Like it's incredible what's available when you use MIDI properly. JB 50 Watt says, how do you take advantage of MIDI with effects pedals? A MIDI switcher. So yeah, you can use like the Morningstar or something like that, but I would suggest getting a multi effects unit like the Helix, the Axe Effects, like that new FM9. It's all floor based, and if you have a Kemper, you can use that as a MIDI switcher as well. It has MIDI. So I would just suggest getting an HX Effects if you just need the effects and not the amp models. Just get an HX Effects. There's plenty of effects in there, and it has effects loops, so you can put exterior effects in there as well, and hook that up to your amp. And I'm not kidding you. Like it's you'll wonder how you got by without it. You really will. You'll be like, I don't ever want to play without this again. this is incredible. Thank God for MIDI. It is like this amazing tech. Let's see here. Justin Bryant, proud owner of the Trinity, maybe the only 6L6 in the U.S. I got the second one. I got a 6L6 as well, buddy. And congratulations. Good to see you here. When I was talking to Pierangelo about it, he's like, well, what kind of music do you play? I said, modern metal, prog kind of stuff. He's like, all right, you need a 6L6 then. You want that big, fat 6L6 tone. I said, whatever you suggest. You're the maestro. You just, throw whatever you think. Because it only comes with EL34s. I think ELs are good, but I'm kind of a 6L6 guy. And I was hoping he would say that. So, and it's everything that it should be. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And again, for those of you who are wondering about Channel 2, it has plenty of gain, especially when you push it with a pedal. And it'll do the brutes, the metals, it'll do it all. It's incredible. You could actually do leads on it too. It's that good. So, let's see. Dave Stana says, yes, I've got a Boogie 395, and it's a beast. For, of course, it weighs like 50 pounds. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. I think that was the one, the 395. That amp is just huge sounding. It's so massive, That's really the way to go, man. If you're looking for a power amp, that's a good one. I know KSR makes one now. I think it's the PA50 and the PA90, I think. But something like that would work really well for you as well, So let me see here. Do I have anything else up my sleeve? Well, I'm not wearing sleeves. But I don't know if I can do... I haven't played this song in a long time. I probably shouldn't do this, but... Just gotta find it. There it is. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can work up the nerve. that was a sloppy mess. I haven't played that song in a couple months. Oh well, hope you guys enjoyed that train wreck. I think I played just about everything except for like 2 songs tonight, so that's cool. Let's see. JB says, "Is Morningstar the MIDI switcher you said for effects pedals?" I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good place to start because it'll switch things on and off for you. Switch the amp and do other things. So I don't know if you can route through it or not, but that's a good place to start. But I honestly think that, a multi-effects unit like a Helix, HX Effects, or X Effects or something like that is the way to go, because you plop one thing on the floor and it does all of it for you. And a lot of effects pedals now are digital anyway, so it's like, why not just have all of them under one roof and have the routing, switching, and everything else. And like I said, with the Helix or the HX Effects, I know for sure you have like 4 effects loops on the Helix. I think you got 2 on the HX Effects, and you can run pedals in the Helix too, in front of it, behind it, and you can put them anywhere you want in the loop. You just take the loop block and you can move it anywhere, before or after the amp, and before or after other effects, so that you can line everything up the way you need it. And for most people, the effects that come in the Helix or HX Effects is plenty what they need. The overdrives that they have, they actually have a precision drive in there, and it works really well. I couldn't tell the difference. I literally could not tell the difference. So that's something to think about too. So they did a great job with that product, I can't wait for the Helix too. You like that, Chicago Todd? Not wearing any sleeves now. Official Sin Vids says, "Just here so far, to be honest, not impressed with the amp from what I am currently hearing. JP2C and Ingle Savage this amp so far." Well, I mean, to each their own. I'm not offended by that at all. Here's the thing. Like, I have plenty of amplifiers here, and I don't want to buy amps that sound like, like my Ingle Savage. It's my favorite amp, but I don't want another Ingle Savage with a different name on it because I wasted my money. I want something different. The Diesel Herbert is very unique sounding. It's its own thing, and I'm so glad that I bought it because, again, why have a Me Too amp? I want stuff that sounds different. I want to have an eclectic room here with a bunch of different things. And depending on my mood and what I'm feeling from one day to another, I'll play any one of these and be like, holy crap, I forgot how good this amp was. So I'm happy with all of these amps. I really am. But a lot of people watch the show to find out what, like that one amp they're going to buy. Like, how does that stack up? Because I want to make sure I buy the right thing. And I'll tell you. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you commented. And again, I mean, if anything, you found out that you like certain other amps more, and that's fine too. It really is. It's perfectly fine. The main thing is buy what works best for you. Everybody's different. Paul Smith, RB 50 watt Roland also has an excellent MIDI effects pedal switcher. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, you know a lot about that stuff too, so definitely. I'm not sure, JB, which Morningstar exactly, but watch some videos on it. I don't have one. I've just heard really good things about them. I've never used one, but I got friends that have them, and they really like them. But I would try to compare that to the HX Effects for starters and see which one's going to work better for you, because all the delays and stuff that you're hearing tonight and reverbs and stuff like that, that's all Helix. I mean, I use some other choruses, but I mean, the stuff that's in the Helix is good too. So I think you would like it. Let's see here. Malin Flames ordered a EVH 100 watt Stealth tomorrow. Black 6L6 or EL34. I think the EVH Stealth is a 6L6 amp. In fact, I got one on the way too. I'm going to sell my 50 watt. I love it, but I just, that 100, man, oh my God, that thing was fire for me. I loved that amplifier. So I definitely love that amp. So congrats, dude. I think you're going to like it. Dave Stina says, can you set the Savage clean channel to have some grit if you wanted to? I like a more plexi clean with a little bit of bite breakup. The other two channels sound balls. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, the Savage. Oh god, channel 2 and channel 4 are money. If you don't like those channels, you got problems. I never did. See, I'm one of those guys, like, I want a clean channel to just be pristine clean, so I never actually even tried to make the clean channel have any dirt in it. I really don't know the answer to that. I'm going to say, let me see here. Pre-shape, right. I think maybe if you crank the clean gain all the way up, you might get a little bit of dirt, but you can always hit it with a pedal, and I know that'll add some dirt to it, but I really am sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. I have never once ever tried to make a clean channel dirty. I always try to make them as clean as I can get them. I want them to sound piano-like and just have this really lush, very pleasant sound to them. So I've never really tried to push a clean channel ever. I just don't play like that. I totally understand why guys like it. It's just not my thing. So I'm sorry, I don't really have the answer for you on that. Yeah, Dave says, I can't seem to find out if it'll break up. I really don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wish I knew, man. I'm sorry. JB says, my only problem with something like the HX Effects is that I already have a bunch of pedals, so then I feel like those were wasted money and want to just sell it all or something. Well, I understand. What I would do is, again, because you have the effects loops on the HX Effects, I would find out what pedals you don't really need anymore because they're in the HX Effects and they sound great. Sell those, and the ones that you really can't live without, put them in the effects loop of the HX Effects. And you got the best of both worlds. Like, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 pedals on my pedal board right now that I have in my loop for my Helix, and I can add many more if I want, and have them all in there. So yeah, it's nice to have the best of both worlds. Dave says, I used to do pristine cleans, but my gigs started to needed to cover more roots country stuff and get voxy. Oh yeah, I get it. I mean, you can maybe I would suggest, like, if you have a really pristine channel, maybe just get a drive pedal. You probably already have one, and just use that for your dirt. That would probably do that for you too. Like a lot of guys, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's what he used. He used a screamer, and just put that in front of his amp and just use that for his grit, and it worked. I mean, his tone was like legendary. It was sick. So yeah, that would probably work for you. Costas, look, what's up, buddy? He says, Jared, an opinion for Harley Benton 2x12 cab. Would it be okay for practice at home? Absolutely. I got one upstairs, and I think it sounds great for the money. It's $200, and they're probably right around $225 or something like that. I think it's perfect for practicing at home. I think it's a great cab. It sounds a lot better than you think it will, and to my recollection, it sounded a little bit darker than the Mesa 212. I've heard otherwise. I've heard people say it's a little brighter, but I mean, I think it sounds great for practicing at home. I don't feel like you're going to plug into it and go, oh, yuck, what is this? It actually sounds really good. And if I were to do like some local shows or whatever, and I just didn't want to damage my gear, because how Tolex is, man, you just scuff it and it's already, ripped and scuffed, and it's not really the strongest stuff. I want to keep, like, all the stuff here they're all studio queens, man. I'm not going to take these to some local gig, especially around this crap hole. So I would probably bring my, I'd probably bring my Kemper, but if I was to bring a cab, I wouldn't have a problem bringing the Harley Benton cab. I think it sounds really good. And if it gets damaged, so what? It's $200, so, I think it'd be fine, especially for home use. Yeah, get one. They're really good. Eric Salinas, the Bogner Lagrange pedal is supposed to sound plexi. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Did not know that. Let's see here. Oh, I just got a message from Drew Childress. Yeah, I will definitely. I could send you the song. I wish I had the tabs, but I don't. But I can definitely send you. I could send you the backing track, and it's actually a pretty easy song to play. I'll go ahead and play parts of it for you right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it right there, and it's pretty easy to play and learn. I sent it out to people, and they all learned it pretty quick, so I'm sure you could pick up on it. It's a pretty basic song, rhythm-wise, and then write whatever solo you want over it. So, yeah, appreciate you asking. So, anyways, well, wow, I've been on longer than I expected. I had fun. I'm glad I stuck around for you guys. And again, like just so people know, like I do get passionate about saying things. I try to be as respectful as I can. But there are times like, I'd lose my crap a little bit on things, and I don't have a problem with it because I think it needs to be said. And there's a lot of times where, there's times in my career on YouTube where I've actually witnessed other people getting passionate about something that I bit my tongue on, and that person's, like, everyone's like, finally somebody says it, and I'm just like, I should have said it. I've been wanting to say that for a long time, but I bit my tongue because I don't want to offend anybody or whatever. And now I'm just gonna, I always try to keep it as respectful as I can and whatever. But every once in a while, I'm gonna let it fly, and I'm gonna just not be that guy that bites my tongue anymore. I'm just gonna say it because I'm not a gear advocate channel. I'm a consumer advocate channel. I'm here for you. I'm here for the viewers that watch the channel and want an honest opinion about something because, man, I respect you. You're coming on here and you're really looking for, like, man, should I really buy that amp? It's $4,000, And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody's taste is different, but I highly recommend the Mezzabarba. I highly recommend every one of these amps that I have on the wall here. If I didn't, I wouldn't buy them. I think they're all very good amplifiers. But I'll tell you what I think, and I try to ask you, like, what kind of music do you play and stuff like that so that I can give you a qualified answer. But I'm not a shill. I bought all these amps, every single one of them. The only one that was given to me was the Victory Kraken, and that wasn't given to me by Victory. It was given to me by a really nice guy who lives around here. His name's Jerry Chris, and he was kind enough to donate it to the channel, and I was blown away by it, and I still am. It's an honor to have that amp here. So, but I'm not a shill for companies. I will tell you what I think. No one's lining my pockets to tell me, to say good things about their products. I don't work like that, because the way I am is if I feel like if I lose my credibility, I lose my channel, and I don't ever want to do that, So, Paul wants to hear the Trinity through the diesel. I don't have the diesel mic'd up properly tonight. I don't think. Let me see. 1 second. It might be a crapshoot. Hang on a second here. I forgot I did mic that up. Yeah, so there it is, right there. All right, so, oh, thanks, Chasing Gain, I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad this is your favorite show. I mean, again, I hope you guys appreciate my candor from time to time. Again, I get a little passionate, but I should, right? Billy Keith, hey, brother, Merrick is actually sending me all of the components and instructions to put the sizzle mod on my Purple Nightmare. Awesome, dude. Yeah, Billy Keith and I had a conversation on the channel like a couple days ago about the Purple Nightmare, and I was telling him about the sizzle switch, and he was like, please don't tell me the sizzle switch is amazing. And I'm like, sorry, but it is. And see, that's why I'm honest with people, because now Billy is getting the sizzle switch mod and putting it on his amp himself, and he's gonna, dude, I'm telling you, you are going to be so happy that we had that conversation and that you got that mod, because I think that amp is great. It really is. But the magic in that amp is the sizzle switch. Just like the magic on the Mezzabarba is the feedback knob. You get that I don't know, that thing. You turn it and you get that bite that you've been looking for, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, you know. And that's what happened to me on the Mezzabarba, and it's the same thing on the Purple Nightmare. As soon as you turn that sizzle switch to position 2, which is to the right, because it's in the middle is off, then you go to left and the right. Go to position 2, which is, or position 3, or whatever you want to call it. Go to the right with it, and you're going to hear it right away. You're going to be like, oh, snap. There's the stuff I'm talking about right there. You're going to be so happy with that. Congratulations, man. Guitar Mike, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here. JB says, no need to be politically correct about guitar amps. Awesome. I'm glad you guys feel that way. I want you to come here for the truth, man. I really do. Ben Burnett, what's up, buddy? Mezza through the diesel cab. Sounds really good. Yeah, it actually does. I was really pleased with it. Very, very good. Sean Casey, good night. Great show. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Dave Stana says, diesel is more forward sounding, but kick-ass though. Mesa has more cut and bite. Both are great. Yeah, Mesa definitely. Man, I think with this amp I could probably go either way, but I think at first impressions I would probably prefer the Mesa cab with this amp. I just think that this amp is a vintage 30 amp for my taste, because the G12 K100s are what's in the diesel, and they sound great. But I think for this amp, the vintage 30s are kind of working for me. All right, well, I've been on way longer than I was supposed to be. It's 10:20, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So, all right, guys, I will download this video and put up it's a video I call, or a series I call TW Riffs, which is like a shortened version. So I will put up all of the mixes for you guys to enjoy. I'll go ahead and edit that down and put them all together so that you can hear the mixes. I might not put that last one in there because it sounded like crap. I played it horribly. But I'll put those up for you to enjoy. You know, appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me and celebrating this awesome amp. So again, if you're in the market and you got $4,000 burning a hole in your pocket and you're looking to buy a real high-end, like boutique, amazing amp, and you're trying to decide between maybe the Mezza and maybe the Soldano or something like that, just get the Mezza. I'm telling you, I've played the Soldano several times on the show. Great amp. It's fine. I got friends that have it. It's great. But I think your money is better spent with the Mezzabarba Trinity, because you can have way more features, way more flexibility, way more tonal options, and you're not going to give up an ounce of quality. In fact, I think you're going to gain some quality with it. And when you embrace the features that this amp has, you're going to really enjoy them, and it's going to be much more flexible for you, and it'll go anywhere from classic rock to searing metal, and all 3 channels are completely usable. Channel 2 has plenty of gain. You can use it for leads, rhythms, whatever you want. I proved it tonight. The clean channel's amazing, and you can add dirt to it. There's a guy, I'm sorry, I think it was Dave Stana was asking if you could get dirt in the Ingle, I know you can get dirt in the Mezza because there's a boost you can put in that channel, so built into the amp. So that will give you the dirt you're looking for in channel 1, which is the clean channel. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for everything, for hanging out with me. You know, and you're welcome, Dave. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. That's what my channel's all about, you know. And I appreciate you guys very much. Jamor, I will definitely say a prayer for you. I look forward to hearing about your progress. God bless you, man. My heart goes out to you. Please keep me posted on your status, man, with your health. All right, well, again, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. God bless you all. Every day's a gift, and thank you so much for spending part of yours with me. I very much appreciate it. And stay tuned for the mixes from this episode, and I'll see you guys very soon. All right, you guys take care now.